for a while I've gotten used to the idea of creating my own reality for how I've been able to take it. But then at one point I heard you say, and you're also the creation, and then I went, what was that? I wanted to know that a little more, because I think of myself a little, and then another part of that was like, you're also creating yourself within relationship. But I guess the thing I just wanted that elaborate.
Every moment is a relationship with something, and the relationship that we want you to establish as the primary one is that relationship with Source, that relationship with that pure positive energy. And if you care about that relationship first, then all other relationships take care of themselves. But it's like Esther observing these two children that she loved so much at the fair that day. She could see that each of them had their point of attraction going. And she knew, because of her experience with them, that this was their point of attraction today. It was today. But what happens is, if you have enough days like that you start to see yourself that way and believe yourself that way, then every day you just recreate yourself again as you have been. That's why this gathering has been really wonderful. We've enjoyed so many of the aspects that have culminated, giving yourself a new name or identifying yourself anew vibrationally, pushing the reset button every day. But it takes some things that you know. First, you have to know that you are vibrational. And next, you have to know that law of attraction is responding to your vibration and to everyone else's. And then it's really helpful to know that you have patterns of thought that have resulted in you hanging around on these spinning discs. We can't find a better way of helping you to realize that your point of attraction is what it is. Jerry, when he first met us, said, Abraham, I figured out the perfect incarceration system. I think there should be islands, and the murderers should all go to an island and do it to each other. And the rapers should go to an island and do it to each other. And the thieves should go to an island and just steal things back and forth from each other. And we said, you already have those islands. They are vibrational islands. And the crowd didn't like the sound of that at first, because they want to know, why does the one who's murdered end up on the island with the one who is murderer? And we say the vibrational frequencies have to match, and people are offering frequencies that they don't even know they're offering. This is a universe based on attraction. There's no exclusion. So when you say no to something, you're actually saying yes to it. So the more you teach your children, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, the more you're causing them to lay pipes to that. The more you're helping them carve out the path of least resistance to the thing that they do not want. It's such an important thing to know. So when you know that you are a vibrational being, you and everybody else, and you know that law of attraction is sorting it out indiscriminately, in other words, not discriminating, not giving you Esther would say, come on, Abraham, can't you give me a special pass here somehow? We say you don't want it. You want the consistency of law of attraction, because you want to be able to make the conscious correlation between how you're feeling, what's my mood, what's my disc, and what's coming. So if you're meeting a lot of ornery people, you got to admit, you went to the ornery meeting. You went to the ornery disc rendezvous point. If you're flying high and people that are coming are full of fun and clarity and insight, then that's the disc that you're meeting them on. But you are the creator of the disc. And law of attraction will bring everything that matches the disc that you have created yourself to be on to you. How about that?
I think it's great. I have a thought when you were saying that, is that then the vortex would contain that we have there, our vibrational escrow, would be fresh, even though it's been contained. You know what I mean? Even though it's been there already, it would feel
really good.
fresh.
Constantly fresh.
Right. So that's like we're always creating our new selves in a way, even though it's been there, but when we catch up to it, it'll feel fresh.
That's why what exhilarating life is, because you're exploring contrast and creating fresh desire, now you get the fresh journey to the fresh new result. That's why we are eternal. That's why we're always fresh, always moving toward. We said in the beginning of this day that as you're moving toward what you've become, it always feels good. When you're widening the gap, it always feels uncomfortable. And then we like to say, you never get it done, so don't try to close the gap. Just expand and move in the direction of your expansion. It's a simple concept, a little more difficult to learn to apply, because momentum has you recreating what you don't mean to if you're not paying attention. But if we have convinced you that you're vibrational beings, have we? And that law of attraction is responding to your vibration, and that the way you feel is the indicator prior to the manifestation, Then, if you catch yourself early in a thought that doesn't feel good and you're able to replace it with a thought that does, now you have really manageable control of what's happening in your life experience. We've been offering a very simplistic analogy, but it's a good place to start relative to momentum. See your car at the top of the hill in San Francisco and nudge it a little and it starts down the hill. And if you catch it before it really gets rolling, you can step in front of it and stop it. It just bumps up against you and everything's all right. But if you're at the foot of the hill and it's coming down at you and that's how you choose to stop the momentum, it's more painful. And so if we were standing in your physical shoes, Jerry said that to Esther the other day. She was riding with him and he said, well, if I were standing in my physical shoes, it made her laugh out loud. If we were standing in your physical shoes, we would take this small handful of concepts and information from this gathering and we would just focus on it for a little while, and we promise you it will yield you more results than any combining of any philosophical points that you've ever applied. Really brief. We would acknowledge that we are vibrational and that we can choose the disc. And then we would go to sleep tonight intending to reach for the best feeling thought that we could find in the morning with the intention of getting on that high flying disc, with the intention of rendezvousing with things that feel like that. And then we would be aware of the way we feel. And in the moment that we realize that we are flying less high, even if it's just a little, we would realize that we have 17 seconds to draw back from that thought, to refocus that thought. Because once you cross the 17-second mark, it's going to start rolling. So we'd step out in front of that car and stop it in that early stage. And then, as we're moving through the day, we would watch for evidence of our alignment. Just do that for a few days, and we promise you, Esther has become so obnoxious. And we mean that in the nicest way. She has a pen that she likes to write with that Kate gave her that looks like a magic wand, and she's just sort of waving it around to the universe. I choose that and that and that. And she's reached this place that she knows that it's coming. It's just a matter of perfect timing. And she's also wise enough to know she doesn't want it all at once. What an uncomfortable, overwhelming day that would be if it all came today. She likes it to be incrementally spaced out, so that the timing of the delivery of the insight, the thought, the manifestation, the emotion, the co-creation, the rendezvous, so that the delivery of it can be devoured and enjoyed in the way that you've intended for it to be. This is all for your pleasure. You're the creator of your own reality. And people, when they hear that, Seth coined that phrase, when people hear you create your own reality, they quite often argue, no, I don't. I wouldn't have created that. I wouldn't have done that to me. And we say, well, we didn't say you did it on purpose, but you did do it. Everything, your response to everything around you is your creation. So then it begins to occur to you that you can't control what others do. It's not your job to do it. You really want to keep your nose out of their business. But it is your job the way you're responding to what others are doing. So Esther's begun saying, well, I can be by myself really well. I can fly high when I'm by myself because I can direct my thoughts and I can get energy going and I can feel my empowerment. And I've got that covered. And strangers, I got that covered too. Strangers are just so good to me. The universe is just picking the nicest of them and bringing them to me. It's those people I know that I have old pipes about, Not people I know who have characteristics that bother me. People I know who I have old pipes about. So if you've got people that are really annoying you and you keep rendezvousing with them on that disc, you might want to stop thinking about them so you stop rendezvousing with them. In other words, what keeps things active is your attention to it, you see. You are the creator of you. You're the creator of your mood. Start there. I'm the creator of my mood, therefore I'm the creator of my day. Just start there. I'm the creator of my mood, and therefore I'm the creator of my day. I'm the chooser of my mood. I'm the chooser of my mood, and therefore I am the creator of my day. I'm the chooser of my mood, and therefore I'm the chooser of my day. I create my mood, and therefore I create my day. Before you go, there's one more thing that we want to say, and that is, we've been talking about how the contrast that you live causes you to send off these rockets of desire, and that what you've been thinking about, start again. Everything that will manifest is a vibrational reality first, wanted and unwanted. So as a society, as a mass consciousness, as history, ancestors, what they taught you in school, in other words, you have created quite a few vibrational realities that if in your now you've got open pipes to, it's manifesting. Ooh, did you hear that? Wanted and unwanted things. It's always vibrational first, you see. So what you want to do as deliberate creators is you want to accept today you're new at the fair, and that you can pick a mood that will yield you the results from this environment in which you stand. How's that? Just start asking the environment in which you stand to show you the results that represent the vibrational frequency that you're offering. And then just pay attention to what happens in the grocery store, or pay attention even to the clarity of your own mind when you're alone, or pay attention to who gathers around you in traffic, and on and on and on. Just start noticing what's gathering around you, and then begin saying, it gathered in perfect vibrational replication of my mood. It gathered in perfect vibrational replication of the disc that I'm on. And then start saying, and I can choose the disc I'm on. I have more control of that disc. Because that's the only thing you got to do. We make this so complicated. You create your own reality. Step 1, step 2, step 3, upstream, downstream, vortex, grid. In other words, all of these words in trying to get you to understand how you create your own reality. And today we would just like you to leave here understanding that it's so much simpler than any of us have been making it out to be. Pick something that feels good, fixate on it until you've practiced the thought, and then notice the good stuff that comes in response. And getting back to the very first thing that you ask, it's such a really wonderful consideration. How much history, how much past is going to tie in to what I allow now? And we say your vortices are full of all of the components that you've been putting there over a long period of time. But your point of attraction is what you've got control over right now, you see. Do you get the step 1, step 2, step 3 understanding? When you first got here, you were born on the high-flying disc. You were. And then the others around you who cared about you, who had lived enough life and been banged around enough to know that there were things that they didn't like, began trying to protect you from living those things that you didn't like. And so it wasn't too long before you were not always or even predominantly on your high-flying disc. And then a really good phase of your life began, because you began sifting through contrast, identifying who you are and what you want. When someone was rude, you want them to be nice. When you were rude, you wanted to be nice. When you were insecure, you wanted to be secure. If you didn't have enough money, you wanted more money. In other words, the contrast just caused you to build this vortex of who you really are, and the larger part of you became it. So that was a phase of your life that we will call, let's just call it the step 1 phase. And you never really completely get out of the step 1 phase, but there was a time of your life that you were predominantly on the high-flying disc. That didn't last very long, and you knew it wouldn't, because you came wanting to contribute by understanding what you most want. So you said you knew that you would step into a predominant step 1 phase of your life experience, and you did. And we always stand in the step 2 phase, because we're always a vibrational equivalent to your furthest most expansion. But now it's time for you to be in the step 3 phase of your experience, predominantly. Occasionally step 1, yeah, for clarification, for sure. But it's time for you to stop justifying and defending and explaining. And Esther would say to Jerry every now and again, I want to know what you think about this. And he would say, with that silly grin, I don't think you want to know what I think. I think you want me to agree with you. And so we want you, when you realize that you're on the ornery disc, or on the overwhelmed disc, or on the I can't believe anybody would do that disc, and now you're trying to get someone else to understand how you feel while you're there. We want you to stop and realize that they'll join you because you've got momentum going, but that's really not where you want to get people to meet you in agreement. You want to get on that high-flying disc and meet up there. That's where your meetup groups are, on that high-flying disc. That's where all your affirming comes from, your high-flying disc.